the total force, the boat battery, could be compared to other engines for other nations. Next is another photo, and this is the single-cylinder engine on the document. Very rare, I don't think any supply to this country as far as I know. This one has been imported from Australia where it worked all its life. And then when you look at this compared to the other one, you can see it looks much dumber stuff in the boiler. I don't know what that's not to do. The unusualness of a boat simply emphasised the fact that both invented the concept of compound in the first place and very quickly established themselves as compound engine engines and we only made a single cylinder in federal order. Next is an Alpine, and this is the first Alpine in. They were made at Northampton. This particular engine was designed to be sold overseas. It had slightly different features than you see on a normal one, but the First World War came about, and I think it frustrated the order and stayed here. So most of its working life in the East Anglia area, but ended up in Gloucestershire. Those were I can't follow what I can remember the engine with the man called the Rickard for many years. We used to live around in the 1960s. He was a farmer who actually was a contractor and he played up to just like this man. Another possible single cylinder long boilers engines when they go by and usually the boiler. The rods are circular, conrod and the valve rods, which you can see because the motion both are circular rather than machine and another feature you can see as you go around is on the stove dooring. There is a badge at the bottom of the round bin which resembles the shape of the first because the first World War tanks were originally designed and built in absolute secrecy by the Boston work. They were designed by the Boston chief designer of the European and along with Colonel Wilson, the inventor of the F-12 gearbox. And this was all done with great secrecy. So to celebrate that, after the war, all their post-war engines were this particular batch. And then we have another deep blue private just to finish it. It's very nice. Hopefully you'll park next to the other one and we'll see all the private factories together, which you're lucky to see one. You're going to see three, perhaps four. Both are clear of both wagons now, and this is the 35 tonner. And all I can say about it really is that you should look at it closely, ladies and gentlemen, and then compare it to the frozen wagon following on behind. Because this was an early wagon before the First World War, one that is following to behind is one of the late steam. And this, you'll be able to see the advances that both made to what was basically the same machine in the period of about 15 years, which enabled them to stay out of the field and was one of the reasons why they were both prolific manufacturers. And still, half out, which is the beauty of being on the 5 ton, and it's very much a driver is a driver, and the steering, whereas with the other ones like the crash come around, the driver, because you can see which man is going to fire at the same time. This is the seventh boat we've got in this trio is another D-type timber factory, looking after a famous timber merchant, John Staff and Sons of all there, who specialise in cricket with us. And now here is the boat and wagon that I wanted you to compare with the earlier one, the 5-tonner, to ahead of it, because this is the main C-type. If you look closely at the two of them, you'll see the features that the boat has developed in the last series of modern motor wagons. Plastic tyres, active steering, which you can't see with detail like roller bearing motion, and all sorts of little touches that produce a much more efficient and manageable machine on basically the same design. That helps a lot. And some of the boats we can see a few times over, they actually have a windscreen and the driver is almost shut out from the weather, which the summer might not be so good because it's quite warm there, but come the winter, you don't get all the snow and the rain blowing in. Our third very, very low loader of the afternoon. I'm not sure whether it's going to be named the logo, but it's all very easy. It's just like a system. And this one is a twin-speed engine. Unusually for a twin-speed, it has a spoke flywheel, which gives us the advantage that we can see the third gear inside the space of the flywheel, which the driver engages on the lead. This gear is outside the wheel, whereas the other ones are inside. So this particular engine has had a lot of work on it by the Woodward family. For many years we saw it going out, but just to say, with Mr. Black, who I think he's a farmer. He used it for a couple of years after he bought it. Another Burrell single-ton compound, again with the arrangement of the unit with the Burrell system, with a single bearing, a single rod, and done in the inside cylinder covers. This one is designed because of the shape of the humanity, worked for a well-known contractor called Ivy Falls, and they had quite a number of these Burrell engines on factory duty up in the northwest. Next is another place in Shuttleworth, and this time it's a road locomotive. And you see it's got the very tank screen engine and a solid flywheel. This for many years we do it in the Hungerford area. It's the sitting on the shows. I think I remember right, we used to take part in the 1975 National Red Club to celebrate the formation of the factory. So it's been 45 years earlier. And it's come all the way from Ireland now, along to Captain Ireland. Thank you very much for coming. So I don't think there are any other things to show you. ready, and it's actually the biggest crane. We have three little 4-fan crane engines existing, but this one is the 12 one, and it's made as the biggest mobile crane in the world. The crane part is actually owned by Smiths and Broccoli, a crane manufacturer. And when you look at it, you can see it's that much bigger and heavier built than the other barrel crane. Now, you can't see that the task contractor on this one. This is the other task contractor we have here this weekend, and this one is V2 like its stablemate ahead, but this is the change line version. So this, you will see those little when it goes round. There are no gears on the flywheel side, you don't see the door visible around above that axle, and on the far side, on the right-hand side, there is a large prop wheel which carries drive chain. Makes this tractor particularly fast. They've got 3 speed, and they're replicating the fastest conventional traction engine type of engine ever made. And because there are no gearing between the wheels in the motor, which is moving fast, it has much better suspension with these springs, and they give it a very low speed line. A barrel door made going wide, and no, it's not speed, it's really bad. Barrels over there, roll metal back here, in both 2 and 2 versions, but virtually all of them were top gear, the running right. Huge advantage because you take the trailer somewhere and even the trailer was coming back to the depot, running right engine in top gear with much more efficient cover distance in a short time. Now we have a load of this is the model that hasn't been done now. The reason that the one which is made this slide is because they were converted to tar tanks, because they were particularly useful for tar spraying onto the road. You had to make supply of heat in the boiler. This particular one supplies the Midlands in Hertfordshire, and it's early part of the work in Hertfordshire, and it's the RO registration. But then it resided in Welland, like it was a car sprayer. I think the places are on it. It looked very pretty when they finished with it. In the Lake District, along the road that you might be on your holidays, you might have the tar and chip that, but it's very like it. If you then go into another barrel, this is a lovely cardboard, what we call an estate engine, which is like a dual-purpose engine that was built for both road haulage and for agricultural welfare. And you will notice that like all road engines, through road engines, you have a body tank, a front tank, but on the rear side, the front of the flywheel, on the side facing the audience, you will see that the tank extension is flush to the side of the boiler. And this is to allow the belt coming off the flywheel to drive the machine on low level, such as the stall level. And the idea was that somebody who was looking for a dual-purpose engine that needs to do both bell work and road work would buy this as one machine and have the perfect and ideal piece of work. It gets another engine with a Devonshire TA registration. I think Farrell's had an enormous amount of success in the West Country, both Devon and Cornwall. Well, one has to think that they obviously thought it was a good market to pitch into, because calling one of their types of engines Devonshire suggests that they were really aiming at that particular market. Another place in Shetland is like a single-cylinder. We've only seen one previously. This is the most common garden engine you will see for smashing. Many of you can know that this, you remember in the countryside of the 9,000 there was an engine like this, and the men that stood around it trying to keep warm, smashing in the winter months. Because that was when most of the smashing took place. The corn was harvested in August and September by year, and it would be stacked with the suit should have been set up with the corn to dry in the field, and then they would pitch onto the sheets, we pitched it onto the trailer, a cart, taken back to the farmyard, and ripped up, built into a rick. This is the unthrashed corn with the ears to attach to the straw, ridiculous. Usually much the same time of year each year, and the farmer would then prepare to provide water and coal for the tractor. He would set the tractor up in a plastic box and destroy the vegetable baler behind it, all belted together, and they would stay there for as many days as it took to thrash that farm before. And consideration increased the prevalent wind, so you didn't get all the benefit of doing the smash getting covered in the chaff and the dust. One suspects that the experienced contractors have worked out where to set up their machine to best advantage the first time they visit the farm, and if they were right in their estimations, would have placed the equipment at the same place each year on their return visit. And when tractors came around after traction engines, all tractors had a pulley, and that was to do the same job as the traction engines. So they take the smash machine, but they use the tractor. And it wasn't until the self-propelled combine harvester came out that the tractors stopped having pulleys on them. Well, in our part of Herefordshire, they were thrashing machines driven by tractors right up until the end of the 1950s, before combine became readily available, and tractors started offering a combine service. And I know that the farm I live on, initially, the tractor had an international W9, so we love the big central paraffin, very powerful tractor, and the wonderful tractor the guy was on. But the farmer told me that he was carrying TVO to it almost constantly, whereas after a year or two, the tractor came back to the KZA, an equally powerful tractor, and it used half the fuel. Well, I think that's all the track changes we've got coming in. I think, what have we got there, 16, 17, I can't count. So it's a very good number, and it's a wonderful turnout of a great variety of engines. We've seen different types of engines, we've seen different nation engines, and some of the well-known engines, we've seen quite a number of designers, follow the boat, nice to see the central. Like I said, we haven't seen one up till now, but there you are, ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful range of engines from several different manufacturers in all sorts of shapes and sizes and designed to do different jobs. Last day to go, and I think Joe's one of the ladies, before you leave the bridge, if you could just give your audience a little tune on your whistle to say thank you very much for coming. Thank you. If you could make your way out slowly. Next, after the crack baby speed, is going to be the miniature speed. This has been the most wonderful show. It is wonderful weather, we must never forget that. And I hope you all come again next year. I hope you will see as many engines as this next year. But Alan, I think you can sign off. Thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure and a privilege for Mark and I to occupy the Oxford box for the last 2 days. We've tried various things on the show, especially congratulations to you. You've been a wonderful audience. There's a lot more to see in the next couple of hours before the show closes, so don't rush away. And as the engine join lands in the arena, we will say thank you very much and goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.